restart. Oh, I know, yeah. Well, you know. That's more. What else has got to the range? Come on, please work. Please work. Please work. Thank you.
Colour for England on the outside. And from the inside it is Bobby Schwartz, and Nilsson has got up as well, and that's a surprise, and Morton must try the outside run. So it is Sweden in front, then Schwartz. Third place now is Olsen, and it's Chris Morton at the back, and again this isn't good news as Schwartz goes bursting in the inside of Nilsson. So now America again, really, the statessiders are in the most mean mood. They lead. Second place Nilsson, that's a surprise. Third place is Olsen, with Morton trying all kinds of tricks to go around the outside. And Olsen is being slowed up by Nilsson, and here comes Chris Morton for England. He's gone round one, he's gone round the other one, and that really was Morton at his gritty best. Last, and can he get past Bobby Schwartz, and he's having a rare go, and he's done him quite beautifully, and there is a perfect example that even if you're last you can still win Speedway races. Chris Morton has lifted England sky high. Jessup will be looking for that start again. He seems to have just momentarily perhaps lost his magic touch out of the traps. From the outside is Olsen. Jessup's been left. Leading it is Moran. Second place, although Olsen, I think, will just about move in front. Olsen and Moran together. Jessup's in third place. So the Danes maintain this magic run at the moment. Real golden stuff from the Danes. Olsen in front. Moran's in second place. And England will be looking to Jessup to gain something more than a third place here in Heat 12. Going very, very wide, then closing right down on Moran on the corners. He's getting nothing away. It's his top corner, and Jessup might just sneak through here if he plays his cards. This time Olsen is stuck closer to the line. Although Moran is trying up underneath him. Really is compelling stuff, and here comes Jessup, and Moran's moved through on the inside, all three together, and they're into the last two corners, and it's still Olsen, and still Moran second, although Jessup might just get up on the line there. No! Olsen, Moran, Jessup, a race truly to remember.
Riders settle. Concentration is 100%. Paul Johnson indicates all is okay. Tapes rise. Pennell shoots from the tape. So does Knudsen. Knudsen comes across Pennell, goes super wide. Pennell takes advantage. Pennell comes out. Knudsen comes back at him. Knudsen comes under him. And there we have it. Hey, now Pennell has got a race to ensure that he steps up there. He hasn't got the point so far. But it's Knudsen in the lead. It's Bruce Pennell second. It's Chris Morton third. It's Alice Gemmell fourth. Knudsen seemed to have missed it. Seemed to have missed it totally. But no, he hadn't. He swung back. He came under. It was dramatic. It's fever pitch here. Tommy Knudsen, so good, so consistent. He's in the lead. He's got just a good lead. Can Pennell come back? Pennell knows every point important. Boys like Kenny Carter will be watching. Pennell tries the big lunge, the outside run. But still Knudsen holds the inside. Under the pitch turn, it's dramatic. They tussle, they lock up, they come out together. Still Knudsen in front. Knudsen looks over his shoulder. Dangerous tactics. Never do in athletics, and not in Speedway either. Here comes Pennell, still on the lunge, still on the attack. Closer, closer, closer. But still Knudsen holds the inside. Pennell on the outside. Pennell and Knudsen full throttle together around the outside. It's Pennell. It's Pennell to the line. Or is it? Is it Knudsen? It's Pennell. Seven takes away. Very even Stevens there. And it's Olsen from the outside. Pennell now forced himself through all the way from third to first, and they've tied together. Olsen and Pennell as they come down. It's such a vital heat, John Davis was saying, and Olsen certainly got the jump. Pennell came back absolutely magnificently on that first turn, and it is a really exciting, tense tussle as they come down. First then Pennell nearly loses it. Pennell reared there. Olsen meanwhile carries on. Third place, Igor Müller. Fourth place at the moment, Hans Nielsen. Nielsen will be looking for the inside jump, but don't worry there, because we can see a titanic battle, the duel, in fact, of the Titans. And Pennell's given it all he's got in an absolutely wonderful Wembley performance. He's looking for the outside line. He's doing everything. It's a real fight, a real World Championship decider. He goes past, and Pennell comes inside Olsen. Olsen senses it. Olsen goes wide. Olsen nearly loses it. Olsen regains it. Olsen holds it. Pennell looks at the inside run. Olsen drops the gate on him. Pennell looks to the outside. Olsen hugs the inside. Olsen comes along. It's a right to the fight, to the line, and it's second Olsen, third Müller, fourth Nielsen, and that must be one of the greatest world final races of all time.
Tatum and Davis, the Coventry fans in good voice as Tatum lines up in gate 3. The green light comes on and already being held away they go. Wig makes a tremendous gate. Tatum gets him, and also it's Thorpe in the action, and Tatum's on the outside. That third gets round Wig, sets him out chasing Thorpe as a race at the backstop the first time, and Tatum's totally given to the outside line. Thorpe leads in nothing. Wig Tatum trying to come round him. He knows the second spot's enough, but he's after the victory as Thorpe leads now as they come in big one. It's Tatum in second, and Tatum gets inside. Thorpe goes too wide and leaves Thorpe nothing, but Thorpe gets back past him again, and Tatum went too wide there. Wig almost got inside him. Why doesn't Tatum settle for a second spot? Second spot will see him get the British crown as Thorpe leads now as they come in B2. It's Tatum in second, it's Wig in third, it's Davis pegged back at the back, and that second spot will see Kelvin Tatum lift the British crown in 1987. He's not closing up on Thorpe, but Wig's not getting to Tatum as they come to complete three then. Thorpe and Tatum, Wig in third, Davis pegged back at the back. 3/4 of a second to go for Kelvin Tatum to become the first Coventry rider to ever become British champion. The Coventry fans cheering round. That second spot's enough as Paul Thorpe wins it. Second, the British champion for 1987. The best rider on view this afternoon. Coventry's Kelvin Tatum.
Grid 3 needs only to win this one, and he's got two former world champions against him. Peter Collins on the inside, Ole Olsen, the reigning champion, on the outside, and away they go. And despite the nudging of the tapes, Ivan Major still times it perfectly. He's in front. Second place is Olsen, third place is Peter Collins, and we're on our way to Speedway history. Major leads, Olsen is second. Collins, who so lifted our British hearts here just 3 years ago, going around the outside, showing all his typical North Country bit. Can't quite find a hole around the outside of Olsen, but Major is immaculate, and Major is in front as Collins comes bursting through on the inside. They're going to race for the minor placings, but the minor placings here don't really count. It's all about Ivan Major, and there he is going flashing through our frame. Olsen goes through, and Collins is in trouble. Collins, his machine has given up the ghost. That really completes a disastrous afternoon for him. But Major now is going to go on and win this World Championship. Surely nothing can stop him now. 40 in October, just about the oldest man surely to take a major motorsport title. Ivan Major is going to win it for the 6th time. And the first man to congratulate him is the reigning champion, the old champion.
Starting Marshall calling in Eric Stenlund a little bit closer. He's happy. Green light's on. And did they touch the tapes? Not quite. They very nearly did. The rider in yellow, but he's got away. But Eric Stenlund's winning this time. On the inside it's Freer. On the outside Stenlund. It's a good dice between those two. And now Ermolenko's joining on as well. It's looking pretty good, Martin.
Yeah, that's a nice move. Sam just sneaked up on the inside there. It's interesting to see Mike on the outside. If they can do a bit of team riding, they're looking for each other. I can see that.
They certainly are, and in between them is the old crazy horse himself, Eric Stenlund, who loses a bit of ground there, but he was battling all the way. So it's looking pretty good again for the USA in heat number 4. But now Stenlund is going to have something to say about that. It's Freya first, Ermolenko second, Stenlund third, Dano fourth, in that order. Now Ermolenko coming under pressure from Eric Stenlund. Freya looks over his shoulder, sees that Sam is still there. Would you believe that this man Freya in first place? This is his first season of British League racing, and this is looking for his second win for his country. 1 lap to go in heat number 4. Sam now coasting him home, but Eric Stenlund is going to have a try on the outside.
Stellan's not giving up. He's come alongside Ermolenko, and he's cut inside him. It's a great ride from Stellan, who also takes out Mike Freya. It's a race to the line, and Stellan has done it for Sweden. In second place, just on the line, was Mike Freya. In third place was Sudden Sound. It is. Let's wait for the tapes to rise. Kazakov pushing on the way they go. And it's a race to the first bend. Let's hear it. Who gets it first? Stellan gets there in front. Kazakov is in second place. Now then, this is where the battle lies. Stellan first, Kazakov second, Terenius third. This is where it's all going to be. Oh my word, Kazakov is through. Stellan on the outside, Kazakov on the inside, and he'll know is at both now. Stellan's back in front. Stellan in front down the back straight. Kazakov in second place. He tries to cut under Stellan and he's done it again. This is really where it's all won and lost down these wide rounds now. Stellan round the outside of Kazakov again, but surely he's got to try and keep to the inside on this bend, because Kazakov makes up so much ground on this one, and he does yet again. This is the last lap of Heat 37. Stellan knows what he got. Oh, Kazakov is off. Stellan is the world champion. Nothing can stop him now. He comes round the final two.
Getting a little anxious at the gate. And it's Ermolenko, another rocket start, and Davis and King just about level. In the red helmet, Phil Collins probably having trouble with his wrist. But then you've got Ermolenko as away again, and Davis looking more like his confident self has found a way through, found a way past Ermolenko, who is fighting back at him, coming around the outside, around that back straight. But Davis has got the run into the turn. He knows Ermolenko's there, and he's easing him out, but he's easing Ermolenko out into the dirt, and he's squeezed him against the fence. Now Davis has hit a soft bat, lifted, and both the Americans have gone by him. Both the Americans have gone by, and they've touched, and King has upset Ermolenko, and now it's given Davis a chance to come back underneath them. What a superb speedway race this is, and Phil Collins has found a way past King as well. King has made it, Davis second. What a race, what a race. Ermolenko, helmet covers have lost, and I'm a little bit...
Tapes are held a long time, but away they go, and Shearer it is who gets another great start from gate 3. Shearer cuts across John Davis. Now can Tony Austin come through to join him? He overtakes John Davis. It's the rider in yellow and black, which is Lance King, that's between him and his partner at the moment. Lance King and John Davis. Tony Austin, not that much between them, but no doubt about the winner, the leader at the moment. That's Mitch Shearer. He's in front. Lance King in second place, John Davis third. Now Tony Austin comes up alongside John Davis and takes him on the inside. Coming around to complete 2 laps of heat number 12. Shearer just from Lance King. In third place is Tony Austin, who now comes up the inside. Oh, and King driving down the inside of Mitch Shearer. It's a great strut down the back straight, and King goes in front. King is in front now. Can Shearer cut back on the inside? He does indeed, but King is still holding on with 1 lap to go in heat number 12. King it is. Oh, he just wide, and Shearer's through again. But then, the lead's changing hands. Tremendous amount of time to heat number 12. Right, the final 2 bends, King's drifting wide, and Shearer's cut on the inside, and again it's a race to life as Shearer gets there.
Shrewsbury is okay. Lead 7 now, and away they go. Lorem on the inside was beaten to the turn, and it's Wiltshire out in front there. When he puts his mind to it, he can rock it from the gate, and now can he contain Lorem on his home track, the top National League rider? It should be some rare old battle if Lorem can find a way to challenge him. Barry Thomas Blue in third place. Wiltshire drifting off the line, but keeping the speed on and the power on. Which way will Lorem go? That bottom turn there is notorious for catching people out when they go on the outside, but he's using the banking to pick up speed, to attack Wiltshire on the outside, now cutting for the inside. There's not the drive. Wiltshire! What a mistake! He just moved aside, but now he's coming back at him. Superb stuff, and they clash. Or did Wiltshire hit the curb? A tremendous battle from these two. You can see what I mean about them being a start of the future. Superb! What a tremendous race that was by Wiltshire. What a fight back. He couldn't be put up. The Czechoslovakia, here they go. Heat 16. All very anxious. Who's going to make the break? and Nielsen level into that turn. It's Moran who comes out of it. But Matasek is down, thumping the ground in frustration, and the three others are way up front. Nielsen bursts through, but Moran, elbows flying, forces his way back across Nielsen, and Nielsen's got the run on the outside. Moran is going for the eye of a needle there on the outside. A fantastic race. Moran is determined to win this. He's got the run on the outside. Will Nielsen be able to come back at him now? Because Nielsen's had it very much his own way all night. He's looked untroubled. Now Moran, who you can see was making a fantastic fight of it, very determined not to be intimidated here by this world champion. Moran makes very, very few mistakes. Nielsen will pressurise him on the outside. He's got bags of speed. It's a question of being able to outwit Moran and force him into a mistake. Moran closes down that inside cleverly and does it. He wins over Nielsen.
To the Speedway Tavern, enjoy the show. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. What do you need to know? Have a drink, have your say. All opinions here today. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. Enjoy your stay. Michael, Matt, and Chris are here today. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. Come and have your say.
Sometimes things happen that put things into perspective, and Speedway becomes less important. At the Speedway Tavern, we've had cause to realise that in the last few weeks, and Speedway itself throws up moments that transcend the sport and club and national loyalties. That's why, as we welcome you all back to the Speedway Tavern, we would like to send our best wishes to Thomas Golub and his family. Get better soon, mate. Good evening and welcome back once again to the Speedway Tavern. In the studio tonight we have our friend Matt.
Good evening.
And we have Mr. Urine himself, Chris Webby Brown, and myself, G.A. How we all doing, gentlemen?
We're fine.
Good, good.
You sure about that?
Good, good.
Do you want to have a drink?
So far, no, I don't want to drink, no.
I have to explain that Webby's had a little bit of an operation. I'm not going to really say an awful lot other than that.
It was not a nice one.
It wasn't nice. No. But anyway, good to see you back, mate. So,
anyway, can I just say you look pretty cold out there.
I was going to say,
in the pub car park.
Yeah, you could have given us a coat, mate. I mean, I don't know. Got to ham it up, mate. So, yeah, we've got a few new friends joining us today from different groups on Facebook, I believe.
Yeah, I've spread it around a bit.
Yeah.
Don't sound right, does it?
No, it doesn't. Particularly in your condition.
No, don't. Yeah, no, don't ask me as to which groups. It's
okay.
Quite a lot of Speedway groups. I've spread it around, but can anybody who is watching or listening, feel free to spread it around. Share it. So perhaps we ought to let people know how they can participate on the show. Okay, so the easiest way is to go onto Facebook, on the various Facebook groups and pages, or just search for the Speedway Tavern. But we are on the Birmingham Speedway supporters. We're on the Brummies. We're on UK Speedway Tavern and various other ones, and you'll find us there. Or you can just go to www.srbradio.com and go to the chat page, and you can join in there. There you go. Find us on TuneIn as well.
Yeah, and please do join in, because the show is much better for your participation.
Yes.
Now, obviously, Matt is a Wolves supporter. I'm a Birmingham supporter, and you've got your own problems, Chris.
Thank you.
But that doesn't mean to say, and obviously because of that, we concentrate very heavily on those sort of areas. But that doesn't mean to say that if you've got anything that you want to make a comment about to do with the whole of Speedway worldwide, then please chuck that out. And
I think the intention is
we know what we're talking about.
Yeah, and the intention is to make it a bit more broad, broadly, to try to engulf all the Speedway groups and whatever.
One of the things that we're going to be doing, and I'm going to make Chris panic now,
thank you,
is looking at the updates as they come in. Tonight there's two matches going on. Ipswich versus Berwick has been rained off. Redcar versus Newcastle has already started, as has the Isle of Wight versus Plymouth. And what we will do is we'll try and keep you up to date with those as we go through the show tonight. Redcar versus Newcastle is currently 18 to Redcar and 6 to Newcastle. Jason Garrity and Fernando Garcia getting a 5-1 over Robert Lambert. Bit of a surprise.
A bit of a surprise, yes.
Yes, Chris.
First comment straight in.
Fantastic. Can we do that noise again? That's when Chris wants to tell us there's a comment. Either that or he's just gone to the toilet.
I know we're going to talk about this shortly, but Matthew Hart says a big blow for Birmingham and Ipswich with the injury to Daniel.
It is a big blow. I mean, and we will talk about it, and also we'll see if we can have what do Birmingham do, and what do Ipswich do as well when it comes to that. But yeah, that's obviously going to be a big thing that we'll be talking about tonight. It's not been a great start for Birmingham. It's not been a great start for Ipswich either.
No, that's right, yes. Stop-start, really, isn't it? So,
but also from the injury point of view and so on. But we'll obviously come back to that. We got... can we go back to those updates, please, mate? Yeah. So Redcar versus Newcastle, as still 18-6. And, as we said, Jason Garrity and Fernando Garcia getting a 5-1 over Robert Lambert and Ashley Morris. Quite surprising. We'll have to have a look and see if there was any problems there. Isle of Wight 22 and Plymouth Devils 26. Another surprise. I'm just looking to see if there's any ex-Brummie interest in that. And yes, there is.
One, of course.
Two,
actually.
Yeah, Lee Smart scored a point from 2 rides, and Rob Parker's got 2 big zeros at the moment.
Lee Smart's been quite a journeyman, hasn't he?
He has.
I thought he was very disappointing the other week back at Birmingham. So.
I thought he was, and I couldn't understand why he was chosen for Heat 15. Apart from the fact that maybe they decided to give him the practice because the match had already gone.
Yeah.
I suppose that is a possibility.
Well, I mean, they have clearly got the best rider in the league in Steve Boxall. So.
You think he's the best rider in the league?
I think he is, yeah.
Mitchell Davey, maybe?
No, I think Steve Boxall, because of his experience, would put him just ahead, I think. So I'd back him to finish top of the averages over Mitchell Davey.
Okay. You heard that here first. We will check that at the end of the year. Okay,
destroy the tape just in case.
Before we get on to things, Birmingham and Wolverhampton and Gradley, excuse me, where's Webby gone? Has he gone to the top?
Sorry, no, I'm going to toilet yet.
Sorry. I think we should mention a little bit about Thomas Golub, which is, what a great character, a great rider, a great promoter of the sport he has been. And he had a motocross accident, as I understand it.
Yeah.
And the news I've been hearing, and obviously, we can only go by what we hear, is that he's broke his back. It's not good. This is from the Daily Mail. Thomas Golub, the 2010 World Speedway champion, is in an induced coma after injuring his spinal cord in an accident while training in Poland. The racer underwent surgery Sunday, and Golub was said to be on a respirator and that his condition was serious but stable. The surgeon said that Golub's life was not in danger, but there was a need to be very cautious about the progress and whether the racer would regain feeling in his legs. Yeah, so, wow, it's one of those, isn't it?
This is one of those moments when the Speedway world really comes together, doesn't
Yes.
it? I mean, Thomas has been one of the great entertainers of the last 20, 25 years, isn't he? I mean, wasn't particularly popular when he first started racing, but...
No, he had a few moments.
Yeah, until he picked on the wrong one, Mr. Boys.
Yeah, I was going to
but, no, I mean, you know, I've loved watching Thomas Golub race over the years, and I think everybody was so pleased when he finally won the World Championship. He'd taken so long. I mean, we've had this debate before about World Finals versus Grand Prix. I think if the World Final was still there, I think he would have won it a lot sooner, to be honest. I think the World Final probably would have suited Thomas better than the Grand Prix did. Of course, he was unfortunate that Tony Ricciardo was there for the bulk of his Grand Prix.
As were the rest of them.
Consistent, yeah. Ricciardo and Crump and the right and lords like that, yeah. But
just to add to that, the surgeon who operated on Golub said Sunday that Golub had no feeling from the chest down ahead of the operation, so it's pretty serious.
Well, it's
as it goes.
I don't. All you can say is, get better, mate, and we just send all our best wishes.
Extraordinary as well, because I mean he's been so lucky because he's not had that many injuries in Speedway. Similar to Lee Adams. I mean,
some of his competitors have.
Similar to Lee Adams. Lee Adams went 20 odd years without having any serious injuries, and then obviously had his injury after he stopped racing. But hopefully all the best for Thomas, and hopefully and his family, and hopefully we'll get better news soon.
Yeah. And there's been a few injuries doing the rounds lately, and we'll I'll start again. Daniel Hume, obviously Keane Dickon, which was a bit of a freak accident. Nico Cavati's broke his wrist. It seems to happen at the beginning of seasons quite a lot each year.
It does, yeah. Which is awful.
So I mean, I don't think there's any answer to it, but be careful, please. The rest of our riders is all I can say. That's all I can say. Also happening this weekend is a little matter of the Grand Prix.
That's right.
Starting. So I thought we'd go through all the regular riders and sort of see what we think their chances are. And that's up a bit further. Riders for GP. I couldn't make it much plainer.
Well, I've got it in front of me anyway, so... I mean,
okay. Well, shall we start going through it then?
Yep, of course. Well, you've got the usual suspects. Greg Hancock, of course, the reigning champion. Ty Woofenden. Barta Smazlik. Chris Holder, 2012 world champion. Jason Doyle. Everybody hopes that he has better luck this season than he had last season. Piotr Pawlicki, Antonio Limbach, Niels Christian Everson, Matti Zagar, Maciej Janowski, Freddie Lindgren, Nicky Pedersen, Patrick Dudek making his debut, Martin Vasilik and Emil Serfotenov. That is one hell of a Grand Prix field.
It is good.
It's a difficult one. It's a difficult title race to call this
year.
So
pick one out of that then.
I'm going to say a man who did ride for Birmingham very, very briefly, of course.
Martin
Smazlik.
Yeah, I'll get the name right in as well.
I think he would, to me, he's going to be a world champion in the future. I think he's a quality rider.
I think you're absolutely
But I think he's got a good chance of winning it this season.
What about Emil Serfotenov?
I haven't seen a lot of Emil ride in the last few seasons, to be honest. So if he's honest, he's definitely going to be a contender, and he's certainly got the ability to be a world champion. So I'd have him there or thereabouts, probably top three. Not necessarily winning the championship, but it could come from anywhere. Nobody seems to be talking about Ty Woofenden either, to be honest. I mean, obviously we haven't seen much of him.
Shall we just go through them all and see what we said? So we got Greg Hancock, obviously the reigning champion, who we keep writing off. I remember you a couple of years ago saying, well, he's past his best now. Since then, he keeps winning the damn thing. So I think all the other riders are now there listening, and they're hoping that you're going to say, well, he's past his best. Greg Hancock.
Well, I'm reluctant to write him off now, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 46 years old he is now.
46.
Who's to say he won't be riding in the Grand Prix when he's 50?
I mean, to be
just,
fair, he
nearly as old as me.
He did sort of win it a little bit by default last year, didn't he? Because of
yeah,
the
I mean,
Jason
that's
Doyle
fair with Jason
situation.
Doyle. I mean, that was really unlucky for Jason.
But you know, you have to be up the top to be able to take advantage of that. So he relies very much on his gating, of course.
In fairness to Greg, that's always been the case with him. So,
and he's very good at it. I mean,
well,
it's not. Ty Woffington, as you say, nobody's really talking about Ty, including himself.
That's right. So I've seen very little of him riding so far this season. Of course, he was at Birmingham a couple of weeks ago.
He was at Birmingham a couple of weeks ago, helping out with Lane Cupid, his brother-in-law.
That's right. So,
which was good to see. And Lane seemed to respond really well to that as well.
He definitely Ty needs to pick up his form that he was showing at the end of last season, because he sort of ended last season with a little bit of a whimper.
He seemed
to be honest,
a bit disinterested.
Yeah, I think once he really knew he was out of the running for the main prize, I think that maybe just took his foot off the gas a little bit. But you know, he's not very popular with a lot of British fans at the moment, but he's still our best hope of winning
because he's basically said, I'm not riding for Britain pretty much in any capacity at the moment, hasn't he? So, and we still don't really know what all the reasons are rumbling on behind the scenes for that, do we?
I think there's more to it than meets the eye, really, if I'm honest. So,
Bartosz Marzlik, we've already mentioned. I mean, a class act. Gained experience now, so it could possibly be his year. Chris Holder, are you going to tell me he's past his best?
Well, he's not really. In fairness to Chris Holder, he's had some bad injuries since he won his title in 2012. But saw signs last season that he was starting to get back to sort of the form that we saw then. Not sure whether Chris has got the consistency he needed to challenge for the championship, and I think again you're probably looking at a medal for him. But I might be wrong. I've been wrong before, so
yes.
And I'm sure people will like to remain.
Yes. Jason Doyle. He's not had a best start to the season, really, has he?
No, he hasn't. He hasn't lived up to his 13-point average, has he? So,
no.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody would love to see him have that luck that he deserted him last season, because there's no doubt he would have won the World Championship if he hadn't had the injury. Because he was on fire at the time. He was dominating races. And you just hope with him, whether it's not going to be one of these cases where it's the best chance to win it and they miss out on it, because it's a stronger field this season than it was last season.
It is, yeah.
So he's going to have to sort of match that form that he showed last year, and he'll want a good start on Saturday, definitely.
It's not one. I don't remember how well he did at Crisco last year. I don't think he did particularly well there, did he?
I think he was sort of midway down the field. I think so.
Of course, Ty Woffington's got a lot of success there.
Yeah.
So. Peter Pavlichki.
Sort of under the radar a little bit, because most people are talking about Bartosz Marzlik, but again, I mean, obviously, I saw Piotr riding when he was at Wolves a couple of years ago, and obviously his time at Wolves ended disappointingly, but he was certainly excellent in that period of time, and he got better as last season went on as well, so he's got that years of experience now in the Grand Prix, so he could certainly be a sport.
On his day, he could win a Grand Prix.
He could win to be fair, you look at that field, any one of those riders could win a Grand Prix on the day, so, but he could be a spoiler. I'm not so sure whether he'll win it, but he certainly could spoil it for somebody else.
Antonio Lindback.
Again,
he's past his best.
Well, he's been around for a long time. He's only just turned 30, I think. So
I think on his day, there's nobody more exciting.
No, he's a great rider to watch. I mean, certainly he was brilliant at Cardiff last season when he won there. Again, I think it's consistency with him.
Yeah.
So
there's the mental side of the sport. I think.
We all know he's had his problems, unfortunately. But
it's somebody I would love to see in British Speedway, by the way. I think it would be great for the sport, but for all sorts of reasons. Niels Christian Iversen. Everybody thought next year was going to be a really big season for him, didn't they?
Yeah, everyone. That's things we keep saying that with Niels, don't we? That next year is going to be his breakthrough year in the Grand Prix, and it doesn't really happen. So
He's another rider that can win Grand Prix.
he can win a Grand Prix, of course. I mean, he won at Cardiff a couple of years ago. So again, a bit like Pavlicki, I think could be a spoiler, but not the title, not for me.
Frederick Lindgren. It's going to be a difficult one for you.
Well, again with Freddie, I think probably the same as what I've said about Everson and Pavlicki, a spoiler. But I think Freddie now probably at that level. I don't think he's got that consistency that you need to win the World Championship.
Why do you think that is? I mean, on his day, there is not. There's nobody faster, really.
If there was a Grand Prix at Monmore Green, I think he would be a favourite to win it, wouldn't he? But again, he's been in the Grand Prix now for nearly 10 years. He's only won one Grand Prix, so that tells you really what you need to know for Freddie. I'd love to be proved wrong, but I don't see Freddie as a world champion. I don't see him. I think he'll be again looking for a top 8 spot and automatic qualification for the following season.
Nicky Pedersen. Is he going to say it?
No, to be fair, I mean, I've said it before with a lot of riders, and I've been proved wrong. But I don't see Nicky as a world champion now.
You're telling me he's past his best. Okay.
Well, with the big question with Nicky is, of course, his fitness. Because obviously, I mean, he struggled last season even before he had the injury. Although he did well to win the European Championship, of course, just before he had the injury. The will to win's still there with Nicky. I mean, obviously a lot of people don't like some of his tactics on the track.
The sport will be poorer without him, wouldn't it?
Well, I've said this before, that love him or hate him, you can't ignore him. He'll always put bums on seats. He'll always be a rider that everybody wants to watch, mainly because they want to beat him.
Chris is taking his life in his hands over there. Having a drink again.
So yeah, I don't see Nicky as a world champion again. I think you would look back to when he was sort of 10 years ago, when he was absolutely dominant, probably the most dominant a rider's been since Tony Rickards. But I think that form's gone now for him, unfortunately.
Patrick Dudek. Well, let's mention Patrick Dudek and Martin Vakulic together, because I think they're much of a muchness for me.
Well, I've not seen Patrick Dudek ride yet,
right?
But I know my brother rates him very, very highly because he's watched a lot of the meetings on streams in the Polish League and the Swedish League, and he's been a big scorer there. Whether he can do it in the Grand Prix his first season, I think this season will be one for just getting experience for him and building on that. I'm looking forward to seeing him. He's one rider I'm looking forward to seeing ride in the Grand Prix, actually, purely because, as I say, I haven't seen him in action yet.
Well, we will see that this weekend, of course.
So, same with Martin Vakulic. I mean, obviously he has had a couple of years of riding in the GPs and has won a Grand Prix. But again, another one who could be a spoiler.
I mean, there are so many riders, isn't there, that can go out there and win a Grand Prix and then never do anything. I mean, Chris Harris being,
that's right,
their case in point. And Emil Sayfutinov could definitely win the thing.
I think everyone's delighted to see Emil back in the Grand Prix. I mean, let's not forget the last season he was in the GPs. He was probably going to win it before he got the injury. And of course, Ty got in and won his first one. But again, as I say, I haven't seen much of Emil ride in the last few seasons. So
very exciting rider. That's what I remember. I mean, it's like you say, we've got to see where he is now. Just want to go back to Ty. Is it significant that Peter Adams is going to be working with him again? Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me, to be honest.
No, because last time he won it, I think Peter Adams was in his corner. Am I right?
That's right. Yeah. So I do think he missed Peter Adams's calming influence a little bit in the pits last season. So yeah, I think that's an interesting move that he's decided to bring him back as part of his team. And of course, Peter Adams has worked with so many world champions in the past, hasn't he? So he's been there, seen it, knows it all.
Okay, so I'm now going to do it. I'm going to ask you to pick somebody.
Do it.
You can't do it. I'm going to ask you to pick somebody. Who's going to be world champion? And then I will pick somebody as well.
Bartosz Marslik.
Bartosz Marslik. I'm going to go with... I'm going to go Emil Sayfutinov.
Might not be far wrong.
We shall see. And if anybody else out there's got their predictions then and comments on that, then please, by all means.
So neither of us have been loyal to the Brits and gone for tie.
Can I go for it?
Yeah.
Greg?
No.
Why not?
No, because I said you can't.
Okay.
So you're going with Greg Hancock, are you? Okay.
And just staying on the GP, a bit of a plug here. We don't mind plugs.
No.
Just lost it.
Yeah, you lost it years ago, mate.
I'll come back to it in a bit.
Okay. Perhaps whoever posted it might want to post it back up again.
No,
the old man's eyes is not as good as they used to be, are they, Chris?
Yeah, I know.
Right, shall we just pop back to the updates and see how Redcar and Newcastle are getting on? It's now 31-16 in favour of Redcar. Wow, that's a bit of a trouncing, isn't
Robert
it?
Lambert's not having a very good night, is he? Just
No.
one point and then an engine failure in his last ride, so...
Yeah. Ludwig Lindgren, ex-Birmingham Riders course, just dropped 1 point for Newcastle. He's about their only real success. Ashley Morris is having a good night. Foul excluded.
He's got a second in his last one, though, so...
Jason Garrett is having a great night. Ben Barker's got 4.
Ellis Perk's unbeaten, so...
Yeah, we don't want to know about that.
Yeah.
Isle of Wight versus Plymouth. The current score is 32-34 in favour of Plymouth. That surprises me, actually, that Plymouth are so competitive.
Isle of Wight's obviously rider down. Obviously, Alex Spooner's withdrawn after his second
they've
ride.
got Tyler Govier's rider replacement as well, so they're down to 5 men.
Yeah.
which
So
doesn't
maybe explains
count.
a little bit so why Plymouth are in front.
Henry Atkins is having a very good night. 3-1.
I thought he looked quite impressive. I thought at Perry Bar.
Perry
Yeah,
Bar,
he
yeah.
did. He looked on the pace, didn't he? He didn't score the points that he would have liked to them, but certainly looked like he got a lot of potential.
Well, I guess it's time for us to start talking about. Well, let's talk about Wolverhampton first. And you've had a few matches. I mean, you was at Rye House last week. Was that
1st of April? That was.
1st of April? That's a few weeks away.
I know. Yes.
Wow. So, well, what's happening in Wolves at the moment?
Well, there's been quite a lot happening in the last few weeks, haven't there? Not the best of starts to the season,
No.
and a couple of changes have been made. Obviously, wins against somehow managed to win against Leicester, because really Leicester should have won the meeting at Monmouth.
Leicester have done that a couple of times.
Yeah.
I did it at Bellevue as well.
Yeah,
didn't
they
should have
really
won
they threw it away. I mean, they should have won it fairly comfortably, to be
Yeah.
honest. But you know, win against Bellevue, of course, at home. Went up to Bellevue for the Good Friday meeting again. Good meeting. If you go to Bellevue, the best place to stand is on the back straight. I think that's where you get the best impression of the speed. If anybody's planning to go to the new Bellevue, that is a fantastic place to.
When we go, if we've got any riders left by then, I might well go.
So yeah, and of course a win on Monday against Rye House, a cracking meeting. You know, I thought it was going to be. I think everybody expected it to be a tough meeting, because you look at the Rye House team and they've got riders who go really well around Monmouth Green. 55-37 it finished. That doesn't really a fair reflection of the quality of the racing we saw. There was some terrific racing. Yeah, so a pretty good meeting on Monday, but obviously Adam Skornicki's gone, replaced by Rory Schlein, who I think was on the radar for the club back in the winter as well, but that didn't happen for one reason or another. And of course Mark Riss, the younger brother of Leicester's Eric Riss, signing in as a replacement for Max Clegg, and that's the first time I've seen him ride on Monday, and he looked very, very impressive. Only scored 5 points, but I think once he's got dialed into the track, he could be a big asset for Wolves.
Changing the subject slightly, do you think it's sad that you've got a situation at the moment where you're getting riders like Max Clegg being replaced by a foreign rider, Josh Orty being replaced by a foreign rider?
Well, I think there's two sides to it, aren't there? Because, you know, at the end, obviously we all want to see British riders being given a chance and coming through, but I suppose at the same time it's about getting results, and if the riders aren't getting the results that you need, and there's another rider out there who can do it, even if he's not English, then, you know, it has to be done, unfortunately. I think Max Clegg's has still got a future at Wolves. I think he's parted on very good terms, and he's it wouldn't be a massive surprise if at some point in the season he was back at the club. If they are looking to try and make another
Has
change
he
as
got
well.
a National League ride at the moment?
No.
He hasn't.
He's not. I mean, he's struggling for Edinburgh as well a little bit. So maybe he's missing that extra.
It's a shame his average is too high.
His average is too high, unfortunately. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, Nathan Greaves rode well on Monday. Got his first win, but still not convinced about him as a Premiership rider. Yeah, so it's looking good for Wolves now.
You was worried about Skornicki, wasn't you, right from the beginning? And
I've got to be honest. I mean, I'm a big fan of Adam because he's been a great servant to the club. But I have to say I was very disappointed with his performances against Bellevue in both the meetings.
You would expect, being a Polish rider, Bellevue to be his sort of track, wouldn't you?
Well, his last race at Bellevue, he was very nearly lapped. So, which is, and that's not an exaggeration either. And again, in the second and the return meeting as well, he didn't score a point. And one thing I've always said about Adam, whether he has a good night or a bad night in terms of points, you can never fault his effort. I think you could fault his effort a little bit in that meeting. Right. I do actually wonder whether he'd already been told before that meeting that he was going to be out the door anyway.
Right.
I wouldn't like to think that would be the case, but that's something that it's that word again, isn't it? Perception. So that we've said so many times.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a little bit disappointed as well with his comments on social media when he sort of really made a thinly veiled criticism of the club for not backing him and not being loyal, which I think has been disappointing because I think Wolves have been loyal to him over the years.
Yeah. But I guess heat of the moment and disappointment.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I know that I know Chris Van Stratton and Peter Adams are trying to get a situation where they can fix him up to ride for a championship club, which I think was the intention when he first came announced he was going to come back and ride over here. To be honest, I think circumstances dictated that eventually he came back to Wolves, but it was the wrong move. It was the wrong move to bring him back, and I said at the time I thought I'd be surprised if he lasted the season.
Well, of course, Ipswich are looking for a heat leader at the moment.
They are looking for a heat leader, yeah. So
that might be. Shall we? Can't use him.
Yeah. So that's it.
Okay, and of course you had a visit. Did you say about your visit to Wright House because you went to?
Yes, I did enjoy it. It's the first time I've been down there. Massive crowd. Really, really good crowd, and very impressed with what they've done with the place as well. There's still little bits of it that look like a building site, but
it's work in progress.
It's certainly work in progress, and my first ever visit there, and I really enjoyed it. Obviously, my dad came with me as well. I think he said it was his first visit there since 1958. So,
really,
yep.
Wow.
And he also told me that time he went, it was Rye House against Eastbourne, and it was a Southern League meeting, and there was a rider who guested for Eastbourne, didn't score a point, and my dad said it was saying to me, he thought, no, you won't see much of him again, and that was Ivan Major. That was one of his first seasons over here, so.
Well, your dad's obviously a good judge.
Well, Mano went on to win the world title 6 times, so.
Wow. Right, I suppose we better talk about Birmingham. We've had 2 matches since last time we were on the show. We went to Kings Lynn and slaughtered them. Quite surprised by that, actually. I think it was Kings Lynn Stars. Yeah, I was.
No, you're surprised at slaughtering Kings Lynn?
At Kings Lynn, yeah. It just seemed so easy.
They're not a great team, to be fair to Kings Lynn, but no. I suppose their priority in that league is different to Birmingham's, because theirs is about sort of developing riders.
It definitely is now, because ours is about survival right now. Trying to have 5 riders on that's all we've got at the moment.
Two fairly straightforward wins to bounce back from that defeat against Cradley.
I don't think the Plymouth match was straightforward. That I thought for the first quarter of the match, perhaps the first third, they were doing quite well, Plymouth. But you always, but you always felt that Birmingham in the later heats would hit them hard and pull away, and that really proved to be the case. It was great to see JPB flying again, really on top form.
I think he's going to have a good season.
He was the only one to beat
Steve Boxall.
Steve Boxall, of course. And he wanted, you could tell he wanted to do that as well.
Well, he's the yardstick, really, isn't he? So,
so that was great to see. I thought Lane Cupid did a really good show, particularly as we've been saying, perhaps reserves, we're going to struggle a little bit, but Lane Cupid's been really quite special, I think. And Macaulay Leake, didn't he improve?
He did improve, yeah. He really surprised me. That'll do his confidence the world of good as well, a meeting like that. So,
which obviously brings the thought into your head: what happens when Keane Dickens fit?
Well, we saw him at the Plymouth meeting, didn't we? Because he came onto the centre green to up there, and he looks a long way from fitness. To be honest, it's going to be some time, I think, before he's back. So,
well, some of the noises I've been hearing is it's going to be sooner than he thought. But I agree with you. When you looked at him on the centre green, it didn't, and you don't need him to come back too soon. He's got that. His speed, I
know he's probably going to be keen, but I mean,
Keane Dickens.
Yeah,
in fact.
well, this is.
So this now that obviously brings us to the elephant in the room.
Chris?
Pardon? You mean the elephant that keeps going to the toilet?
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, yeah, that
he's
one.
making his own jokes now.
Hey!
Horrible start to the season for Birmingham. Keane Dickens, freak accident at the press and practice. Chris Hay saying, "Nah, I'm going." And now Daniel Hume. I mean, it sounds a bad injury, doesn't it? He dislocated his shoulder and
Sounded
broke
like it
his
was
arm.
a really nasty crash as well.
Yeah.
It was just nothing.
So
you
will
could
they
do
have
about
to
it.
have to redo that opening team shot they did at the beginning of the season that we've got as our profile on the Speedway Supporters Club?
Well, it's starting to smack a little bit of 2008.
Yeah,
It's
not looking good.
13 riders injured. Oh God, I hope that doesn't happen again. I mean, it's difficult in this league, isn't it, to find somebody to replace a heat leader?
That's
because
true. Yes.
They're all used up.
So you're probably looking at somebody who's out of a team place in the championship. Who's got an average they can fit really.
But who is that? I mean, Max Clegg's average is too high. He would be a good one. I mean, I suppose the thing that you can do is sack another rider and juggle it about and fit, and make a whole new team, which is something that we've seen Graham do previously in the Premier League, as it was the Championship, as it is now. That's not what the National League's about, really, is it?
No, it's not. It's not really.
So I don't really see that happening. I don't know. Has anybody out there got any ideas who's available? That 7-point average. How do you replace that? Can we just go with rider replacement for the rest of the season? It's taking a big gamble, isn't it?
No, well, I don't like rider replacement anyway. So
yeah, well, I'd rather have rider replacement than a rider that can't do what he needs to do. It's a real headache. And of course, this Monday we have Stoke coming to town, who ain't got a bad looking team actually. So you've got to think about what you're going to do for that. So I guess what you do is you replace Chris Hay as a guest, I suppose.
So that surprised you, Chris Hay going?
In hindsight, no. But
must have been
disappointed.
He must have been having nightmares about that third bend at Birmingham.
Yeah, it was if he just got round that third bend, he was going to score points there. That's the thing, because he was getting so quick out of the gate.
In fairness, that bend has caught a lot of better riders than him out over the years, hasn't it? So.
Yeah, absolutely. So who? I would not like to be Graham Drury at this point, because I've just got no ideas at all. How you replace Daniel Hume? I mean, he got injured at the end of last year, and it was the same problem. How do you replace? Well, we couldn't. So we had to go rider replacement for the last few matches and still win the league.
Yeah.
He spun. So answers on a postcard, please. Let's look forward to Monday's match. Wolves got a match on Monday as well.
It's a double header because Crowley riding
of
after
course,
us. So.
Yeah. So, can we beat Stoke?
No reason why not.
Well, I can think of
Stoke
a reason
well,
why not, but yeah.
I mean, Stoke have got a. As you say, Stoke have got a pretty solid.
They've got a
team.
solid team. Yeah.
It's an ageing team, in fairness, which isn't probably what you want to see in the National League, but
they've got Mitchell Davey.
They've got a
I
good,
really
very,
rate
very
Mitchell
good number.
Davey.
They've got a very good number one in Mitchell Davey. Yes, they'll certainly be. I think they'll certainly be coming to Birmingham looking to get a point out of it.
I think this is going back to when you were asking people if they have any ideas. Brian Ricketts says Liam Carr.
Liam Carr.
What's his average?
We will find out. If you can find out Liam Carr's average for us while we're busy yakking, that would be fantastic.
And Matthew Hart says Daniel on a 7-ish average. Do you think he would have improved on that, and by how much if he did?
Well, I was on record at the start of the season saying he was going to be the best rider in the league. So yeah, I think he could have improved it. He hasn't started as fast as perhaps as he would have liked, but I mean, he's had the fastest time of the season so far on the track as well. So yeah, I think he could have improved. I think he could have improved. He was my pick for number one. That was before I saw the form that JPB's currently showing. But yeah, but you know, it's a moot point now, isn't it? Really, unfortunately.
Yeah, best wishes Daniel for a.
Yeah, do you know what? That is the most important
right,
thing.
yeah,
you know, that is I mean, we're all woe is me, but you know,
we don't want to be picking up too many bad injuries at turf even at this stage of your career.
Yeah,
so.
you know, I feel for the lad.
Yeah,
you know, it's two injuries in quick succession, really. You know, don't come back too soon. You know, it doesn't matter. Speedway is not that important. You know, so. Right, so where was we? So we was looking at whether Birmingham can win Stoke. I think key for us against Stoke is going to be Lane Cupid and Macaulay League, because obviously Lane Cupid's going to be picking up extra rides, because I think it's almost certain to be rider replacement.
I think at this stage, they probably won't be looking at whether they'll get a change in at this short notice, will they? Really? So.
And there was we had a named number 8 against Plymouth, whose name will come to me in a moment. And I actually thought, okay, the race he had one race, but he was never going to beat the riders that he was put up against in that particular race. I actually thought he looked quite on the pace.
Carl Roberts, that
was it. I thought he looked quite on the pace.
He did actually, yeah.
And whether it would be worth giving him a go.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, he certainly wasn't half a lap behind. He wasn't.
No. And he looked tidy as well.
Yeah, he looked quite a tidy ride. Looked very, very stylish as well, I thought. So, yeah. I mean, he didn't score any points, but he was. He certainly looked like, you know, with a few more laps under his belt, he could be.
As a replacement for Chris Hay, I think that might not be a bad idea, because then, obviously, at some point, Lane Cupid's going to move up into the main body of the team.
Yeah.
And he'll move into the reserve and get.
That's right.
So that might be a possibility. So Wolverhampton, who have you got on Monday?
Kings Lynn.
Should win that one.
Well, we've got no Jakob Torsal because he's on compulsory duty in Sweden.
Right.
So I don't know what the situation is in terms of replacing him, whether it's going to be rider replacement or promoter of a National League guest. My gut feeling is it's going to be rider replacement. Right. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, Kings Lynn have had a if and buts start to the season, I think, really. So Robert Lambert's obviously is going to be a big danger because he's good at Monmore Green, and I do rate Robert Lambert very highly. Chris Holder's, I don't think Monmore Green's his favourite track, to be fair. He does tend to struggle a little bit. So, but I'm hoping now with the side that we've got that we won't be losing any matches at home, and that we'll be able to be picking some points up on the road. Because I don't think the team that started the season would have won a match away from home, to be honest, because it wasn't going to be getting enough wins, enough race winners, and
you've only got to make the playoffs, haven't you?
That's right, yeah. So and then obviously Somerset first visit there next Friday, And all being well, hopefully, I'll be going to that one because I've not been to Somerset yet. And
it's a nice track. You'll like it.
Somerset.
Yeah, that's right.
You'll like it. Apparently, the Birmingham track was based upon
Yeah.
the Somerset track, but the straights are slightly shorter. But you'll see that when you go, it does look very similar. You'll actually, it's quite noticeable. Yes.
Matthew said, I think he's going back to Daniel, he says, very true, great lad, and came and sat with a group of us at Ipswich end of last season when he got injured. Get well soon, Daniel. That's from Matthew Hart.
I spoke to Daniel at Bellevue when Birmingham were there last season, and he's a nice lad.
He's a great lad.
He
He was always, when we was doing interviews, and so at the end of the matches last year, he was there. Come on, do you want to interview me? Always putting himself out, and
just a
great lad.
Going off track, just as a bit of fun. Can anybody? I know people are watching, and I can see that you're in the car park of the Speedway Tavern, both of you, and I'm inside, in the warmth. Yeah. Can anybody name the rider that's actually in the? Not you, Pear. Can anybody name the rider that's actually on the sign there?
Can we have a look at it? I won't say anything, but can we have a look?
If they can, just mention it on the shout box. But you should be able to if you're clever enough.
I think I know who that is.
Yeah,
I think I do as well.
Yeah.
So.
If you know the rider, just put it on the shout box.
Okay, nice little quiz there. What are you doing the quizzes? Shall we have a look at the scores on the doors?
Okay, we'll go back.
So,
we'll go
Redcar versus Newcastle. The current score is. Do you like the way I am padding out madly?
Shall I refresh that? I'm not sure.
That's probably be a good idea because that's the same score as it was before.
Yes,
37-25. So Newcastle have
Newcastle have used a tactical ride as well. Steve Worrell's pulled off got 6 points in his third race.
Tactical rides. We need to talk about tactical rides. We'll have a chat about that in a minute. And Isle of Wight versus Plymouth. The current score is 38-40. Wow.
Close one.
That is
Steve
a match.
Boxall's been beaten presumably by Ben Wilson. So.
Yeah.
And Benji Compton's withdrawn from his ride as well. So both sides are missing a rider who's been injured tonight.
Yeah.
Obviously, while down two riders, obviously with
Benji Compton's going to be a difficult one to replace, isn't it?
Yeah.
But, coming up to heat.
But Henry Atkins is riding well reserve there with 2 wins and 2/3. So
that must be heat 13's just gone then.
Yeah. What was the old saying? Happiness is 40-38.
Yeah.
Happiness is 46-44. Doesn't quite have the same ring, I don't think, does it? But
no, that would have happened in heat 13.
Yeah, looks like it.
Well, that's certainly a match. That is certainly a match. Okay. Cradley versus Mildenhall. Just think we ought to mention that. Is that a surprise for you?
It did surprise me. Yeah. I think Mildenhall would have been quite happy to do that.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of bad blood between the two, isn't there? So. Just in case anybody missed that, Cradley got beat at home by Mildenhall.
Sorry.
They did have a super guest though, didn't they, Mildenhall, to be fair, who was flying like Dan, I forgot his name, Bewley, Dan Bewley.
He's only got a start of the season, isn't he? And he rode well in the night after it against us for Bellevue.
Yeah,
and
he's had a very good start to the season. He's the real deal, isn't he?
Yeah, he needs to work on his gating, on his start fast when he's overtaking a little bit, because he's still tends to be reliant on his gating.
He's only still on his 16, isn't he?
Yeah, although he did pass, he did beat Carl Howarth from the back at Bellevue, and Carl's had a pretty good start to the season, so...
I think I'm amazed. When he came to raced against Birmingham last year, I said exactly the same thing. I think we both did. Yeah, he looks fast, but every time he was behind, he didn't know where to go. But I guess we're forgetting how much of a novice he is.
16 years old, so he's
he's definitely a talent. Right, we'll have a look at the league tables, just because I quite like looking at the National League table at the moment. We've got Birmingham in first place, Eastbourne in second, Cradley in third, and Mildenhall in fourth. Then you've got Bellevue, Stoke. Stoke are doing really well. Plymouth, Kings Lynn, Buxton.
Well, they've had one match, Stoke, and they lost it, so that's not really doing well, is it?
So yeah, well, they're in sixth place. I can guarantee you they think they're doing well. I don't think they're getting nosebleeds at the moment. Is what I think's happening there. Plymouth, Kings Lynn, Buxton, Isle of Wight, Kent, with Lakeside at the bottom. But obviously, Kent, Lakeside, Isle of Wight, and Buxton actually haven't had any matches yet, so don't read too much into that.
Well, Isle of Wight have had a match, haven't they, tonight, and they're losing at the moment. So
no, they haven't lost it though.
They haven't lost it yet.
Yeah. We'll have to keep our eye on that. I mean, I don't think you can really say much at this point of the season.
I never really take much notice of the league tables at this stage of the season, to be honest. It's really usually June, July that you start looking at them, I think. So.
Although I do think those 4 teams at the top are going to be there or thereabouts.
I think so, yeah.
Although, obviously, that really depends for Birmingham on what happens with replacing Daniel Hume. That's just so key now.
It's a wide open league, isn't it?
Mm.
Which, I mean, it was fantastic what Birmingham did last season, but for a neutral it was pretty dull, wasn't it? Because I think everybody knew from end of May who was going to win the league. So.
Well, I don't think that I think everybody knew who was going to finish top, right?
Yeah.
But I think everybody was, or a lot of people felt that Eastbourne could do it, and let's be honest about it, they came close to doing it.
I wonder whether maybe they thought they had done it in the first league. So.
I still think that what happened in the first 4 heats of that second leg just totally deflated them.
Yeah.
I just think that's where we just went bang and it just deflated them. Let's have a look at the championship.
No, I've got a Premiership instead.
You
want the championship?
That's the championship, please.
Sure?
Yeah.
Sure?
Yeah,
Yep.
because...
You positive? Okay.
There we go. So, we've got Edinburgh in first place, Glasgow in second place, Ipswich in third place, Sheffield in fourth place. Again, I think those 4 teams that are at the top are going to be there or
Well, I tipped Newcastle to win it, and they've had a reasonable start. 2 home wins and a defeat on the road. So
they've only got 3 matches compared to 5 matches from Edinburgh and Glasgow and 7 from Ipswich. So Ipswich have started really quite well.
Yeah,
but it's going to be difficult for them now, isn't it? Lost Nico Cavati, lost
losing Daniel Hume as well. So
it just, I know as a supporter, when that happens, it just feels so wrong and unfair and frustrating, and but it's part and parcel of the sport, and we just have to get on with it. And the Premiership
should be.
Well done. Bellevue at the top, Paul second, Ryehouse third, and Wolverhampton fourth. You must be happy that Wolverhampton's in fourth place, given the indifferent start to the season.
Well, it's a bonus, yes. And it'd be nice to get some wins on the road as well. As I say, fingers crossed. I don't think we're going to be getting beaten at home with the team that we've got now. It's just about picking up some crucial points on the road. I mean, Leicester had a very good start to the season, but they've sort of faded a little bit in the last sort of 10 days or so.
Can you just leave that on for us?
Yeah, I'm just trying
don't think many people are that surprised to see Summers at bottom, because I think they're probably perceived by many to be the weakest team. Bellevue, probably not surprised to see Bellevue top, because they've got
a good team,
pretty good, solid, exciting young side. So
Ryehouse have done well, haven't they? You've got
very experienced team, of course.
They've bought well, haven't they?
Yeah, and obviously now they've brought Ricky Wells in, who rode well on Monday as a replacement for Davey Watt, who of course has now decided to retire.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, there's been some good meetings in the Premiership.
I think you can say actually that the Premiership is quite a wide open league, similar to the National League.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, well, the Championship as well. It looks pretty wide open as well. So, looking good so far.
Yeah.
I have to say, it does look good seeing Premiership there rather than Elite League, because I think the Elite League name was getting a little bit. It was stretching the truth a little bit. I think sometimes
ironic, shall we say?
Yeah. I think it was known sarcastically in some terms as the Delete League, wasn't it?
Right. Well, we're very, very quickly now coming up towards the end of the show. Thank everybody that's taken part, and we've got, hopefully, fingers crossed, we've got a couple of special guests on phone in next week.
Oh, good stuff.
And hopefully Birmingham will have sorted out the Daniel Hume situation.
Hopefully we'll be talking about a new signing or what Birmingham are going to do.
Yeah, I mean, it needs to be done quickly, doesn't it? Because
Yeah.
people lose interest otherwise, and we need to have something to excite us, I think.
What have you made of the crowds at Birmingham in the two meetings?
Well, we only had the two meetings. Obviously, you can't really go say anything about the Cradley meeting because that would have been swollen by Cradley supporters, and the fact that it was against Cradley in the first meeting. Honestly, the Plymouth meeting, I was disappointed. The crowd, but then it was Plymouth.
Yeah.
And I sometimes think actually having bank holidays is not necessarily a good thing because people go on holiday.
That's right.
Yep.
So
I believe they've reduced the prices for Monday, haven't they, as well?
yeah, you can get special tickets.
For tenner, I think, is it?
If you go to the Birmingham website, all the information's there, and you can get in for a tenner. Yeah.
Can't say fairer than
which
that.
I think is
Pretty good, isn't it?
Absolutely, but it is a bit disappointing because from what I'm reading and what I've seen, crowds in general in Speedway this year have been on the up.
Well, Rye House have had some brilliant crowds in the opening few weeks of the season. I think, by and large, I think their fans are pretty happy with the decision to move up. So,
I think all the teams in the championship.
and it was a great crowd. It was a great crowd at Bellevue as well. When I was there on the Good Friday. So,
right. So it is disappointing, but I don't know what the answer is. Just get down there, please. Get down there and support the team.
Okay, one guess each. Who's the rider in the sign? If you don't get it, it's going to carry on to next season.
Who do you think it is?
season.
Next season?
Next week.
Go on, what's your answer? Shall I put it up again for us?
Let's have a look at it again.
Let's see, another look.
Right, I can tell you it's
I get the feeling that's Bruce Pennell, you know.
not Bruce Pennell. Alan Graham.
I'll tell you who it is.
Go on then.
It's Bruce Pennell.
Is it really?
It really is.
Take that off our Speedway Tavern sign immediately. Goodness me.
You've been admiring that picture for weeks now and you didn't realise who it was.
That's it, I'm going there.
We're neutral. We have to be neutral. We have to start becoming a neutral show.
Okay.
Sorry.
Neutral sounds boring to me. Okay, so we will see you next week.
Yeah.
Where we will talk about the Stoke matches and Wolverhampton.
Kings Lynn,
And hopefully we'll be able to poke fun at
Cradley
and
again,
at Chris again.
Thank you very much.
Take care, everyone.
Take care, good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.